I am Dr. Danielle Twum,
Jordana Damon,
Dr. Adrian Starks,
Aaron Smith,
Dorothy Tovar, and
I
can change the world.
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 Hey everybody, I'm Hattie.
And I'm Kendall.
And we'd like to welcome you to She Can Change the World.
Dr. Twum was born in Ghana, West Africa. While attending graduate school, she developed a love for scientific communication with audiences who might not be familiar with science. To this end, she gave a TEDx Buffalo talk about how the immune system works, using everyday words.
She went on to place first runner-up in a 3-minute thesis competition at the University of Buffalo. Her life's goal is to teach science to anyone with even a tiny interest and make it fun. Dr. Twum is also passionate about creating visibility for women, especially young girls in STEM. Let's hear from Dr. Twum herself.
Thanks so much, ladies. My name is Dr. Adrian Starks. I am the founder and CEO of STREAM Innovations. STREAM stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. I have the amazing opportunity to interview women that are literally changing the world. Today, we'll be talking to Dr. Danielle Twum, who has done amazing things in immunology. Come on in, Dr. Twum.
Hi, Dr. Starks.
Hi. So you have been doing phenomenal work in immunology. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yes. Thank you again for having me. My name is Dr. Danielle Twum, and I am a cancer immunologist, which means I study how to make the immune system work better to fight against cancer.
Awesome. So cancer and immunology are some really big topics.
Big.
Tell us a little bit about where are you from? How did you even start an interest in science to even get to immunology?
I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa, which if you love chocolate, chocolate is made from cocoa beans, and Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa beans. So every time you eat chocolate, think about Ghana. When I was growing up, I was, my earliest memory is of me being interested in science. And I think it was because people were going to space and, seeing, astronauts go to space, watching the space shuttle launches. It was just so exciting. And that was where my love for science begun. It was, from the stars, like I wanted to go to space too. And I think anyone listening will, can relate to that feeling, is being able to have the opportunity to see the Earth from like the International Space Station. I think that was where my love for science began.
So when you were in school, what were some of the things that you were interested in when you, I guess, were around middle school?
In middle school, I loved everything science. So physics, chemistry, biology, you name it, I wanted to do it. I especially loved biology because biology explains why leaves are green, right? It explains why the sky is blue. It explains why different fish live in the ocean. So biology made the world come alive for me. And so, being able to we just took general science in middle school. So it wasn't like it was specifically physics, chemistry, or biology. It was all of the sciences. And just combining all of that made the world make sense a little bit, because if you understand that chlorophyll is why leaves are green, then you understand why photosynthesis happens, and then you understand how food is made. And that kind of gave me a lot of comfort.
So talk to us a little bit about what you felt like as a young girl in Ghana that liked science. Were you a nerd? Were you excited to be a nerd? Were there other nerds around you? What was it like to actually like science at your school?
I was the nerd, and I wasn't a shy nerd. I was that nerd who was in your face about how much she loved science. And I was very lucky that I had friends around me who were also nerds. And so then I never felt alone in my nerddom. And in Ghana, the school I went to, they really cherished academic success. So the better you were doing in class, the more famous you got. So everyone wanted to do very well in class, especially with the hard subjects like science. And so me loving science made it so that I was popular, but of course people didn't like me because I was popular. And I was like, I don't care. I'm getting the good grades. That's what matters to me. And my parents love it. So let's go.
So you had a love for science when you were young. What did you think you wanted to do when you were in middle school and in high school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I thought I wanted to be an astronaut. Honestly, I thought I was going to be an astronaut. I don't know how I was going to do it because I had never met an astronaut before. But I thought I was going to be an astronaut. And then later on, because I liked asking questions, I actually left science and thought I was going to become a lawyer, but like a science lawyer kind of thing. No, I didn't. I was like, it has to do with, I like science. So keep science in my life somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Ghana, we don't have a lot of research experience like what you and I do.
Mm-hmm.
We have medical doctors. So everybody thought if you liked science, you could either be an engineer or you could be a medical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't love physics that much. So I was like, forget engineering. I like helping people. I like understanding diseases. I'm going to become a medical doctor. So when I was in middle school, I honestly thought I would become a medical doctor. Look how that worked out.
So talk to us about what changed. So I did say that your name is Dr. Danielle Twum.
Yeah.
So you don't practice medicine. So you were in Ghana, you finished school there. What happened next after you graduated from high school there?
So when I graduated high school and I moved to the US, I took a class in college that changed my entire life. And have you seen Finding Nemo? Finding Nemo, Nemo lived in an anemone. And this one teacher, she was studying how to keep anemones from losing their color. And I thought that was so fascinating. And that was literally how I switched from being a medical school student, pre-med, to going into research, because it was such an important question, because we all know about global warming, we know about climate change, and what climate change is doing is anemones are part of corals. And you've seen coral reefs, they're gorgeous, different colors, and coral reefs support so many fish. And if you have corals losing their color, then you have less fish coming in. And when you have less fish coming in, that's less food for us. So I thought that was such an important question to understand, even in college. But that's clearly not what I do now.
So you said that you like science. A lot of people said that you could potentially be a medical doctor. But you found these anemones that you really liked. So how did you feel about changing from being in Ghana, having people's expectations for you to become a medical doctor, coming to the States and going to school and deciding that you wanted to study fish? So how did you deal with that feeling of trying to figure out what you really want to do?
I was honestly terrified because I had wanted to do one thing for so long, and I didn't know how to change my mindset. But I was very lucky that my family was supportive and my teachers were also very supportive. So whenever you feel like you're about to make a huge change in your life, look for some support so that, as you're jumping, you won't feel like you're jumping without any support. I definitely thank my family and my teachers for holding on to me when I thought I was going crazy. Yeah.
I understand. So you shifted to working with fish. So what college did you go to when you came to America, which is a huge move?
Yes. I went to Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I chose Vassar was because it has a liberal arts program. Mm-hmm. So that means that in addition to, let's say I was doing science, right? I was forced to take other classes outside science. And what that did for me is that it gave me a different perspective to bring into my science. And so being a scientist doesn't mean you only take science, subjects. You have to get perspectives from other things, and it will actually make your science more wholesome. So That's what I
So
love.
what was one of your favorite classes that you took at Vassar that was not science related?
French fashion.
French fashion.
Fashion.
Wow. So you had at college, you had the opportunity to explore a lot of different things, which
Yeah,
is one of the opportunities that college affords you.
absolutely.
So once you were getting ready to leave college, did you know what you wanted to do next?
hmm So, unfortunately, I lost an uncle to a brain tumor he had brain cancer when I was young, and I've always wanted to understand why. And so, when I was in college in my junior year, that's my third year, I did a summer internship with a cancer in a cancer hospital, and I ended up going back there to get my doctorate, my PhD, because I wanted to understand why cancer, what is cancer, and how can we fight cancer better?
So you were in Poughkeepsie, New York at
Mhm.
Vassar, and you decided, I want to study cancer. I want to solve this problem of how people are, not surviving. So you shifted and you went to graduate school to
Mhm.
get more training to learn cancer. Like, where did you do that when you were in Buffalo?
Mhm. I got my training at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, and they have a partnership with the University of Buffalo, which allows me to get my PhD through the University of Buffalo, but get my training in a cancer hospital, which is what
Wow.
Roswell Park is.
Wow.
And that was a great program for me. Yeah.
So what were you working on when you were at Roswell?
I was actually studying how to make breast cancer spread less, because what a lot of patients die from is not the tumor itself, it's when it spreads from one organ to another. So, in the case of breast cancer, when people have breast cancer, it unfortunately moves from the breast to the lungs. And I was studying cells in the immune system that could potentially stop this spread from the breast to the lungs and hopefully help people live longer and have more time with their family members.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So was that easy when you were doing it? When you walked into graduate school in Buffalo, did you have any idea what you would be doing? Like, did you feel prepared going into that?
No, absolutely not. But the thing about change is, there's a quote that says, when in doubt, choose change. And when you decide to make such a switch, you have to get comfortable being a little bit uncomfortable, because you get uncomfortable for a little bit of time and then you will get used to it. And then once you get used to it, you start flourishing. It wasn't easy, but it's not like it happens overnight. You start figuring out what works, and then once you figure out what works, then it gets even easier and easier. So yes, starting graduate school was very stressful, but once I figured out what I was kind of doing, I started, one day at a time, one day at a time.
Mhm.
It's You can't do it all. But yeah, it was a journey.
One of the things that you feel the most proud of from the work that you did with cancer research?
hmm I think my proudest moment was being able to talk to students in some of the Buffalo public schools about my work, and for them to see that me, a Black woman, was getting such an advanced degree as a PhD. Because a lot of the students would tell me they'd never seen a Black woman who was getting an advanced degree. And I loved that I was that for them, because when I was growing up, I didn't see anyone who looked like me getting a PhD. And if I had seen that, maybe I would have started my journey in a better spot. But now that these students have seen that you can be Black like me, you can have an awesome haircut like me, and get a PhD, I'm hoping that that inspires them to also follow their STEM dreams.
Awesome. So from there, you finished at University of Buffalo and at Roswell. You transition. You have this amazing degree that you can do literally anything that you want to do with. So what happened next in that space?
Have you seen Black Panther?
I have.
Do you remember the term magnetic levitation?
I do. I do. And would you explain it to us a little bit for anyone that forgot or was under a rock and never saw Black Panther?
So in Black Panther, when Shuri takes the CIA agent into her lab and she heals him, and then she shows him how she transports vibranium in the mountain in her lab, she says it's through magnetic levitation. So she uses magnets to lift these objects so she can transport them. I had the opportunity to work with magnetic levitation, but using cells. And so I was able to separate cells based on how heavy they were using magnetic levitation. And it was the coolest thing I've ever done. Now, why would anyone want to separate cells? It's because if you're testing a drug, you want to focus the drugs on the cells you want to, treat. And so you need to separate the cells so that you can have the cells of interest you want and then test the drug on them. And I did that using magnetic levitation. It was amazing.
Wow. So you were like literally doing work that you would see in Black Panther, in Wakanda, today in America.
Yes.
That is amazing to be able to treat cells. That's phenomenal. I really hope that students that are watching this understand that science is so cool. We could do things that people only see in movies today. So you've been doing that, and from doing magnetic levitation, you had this amazing opportunity to be selected as an If Then ambassador. So you and I are both If Then ambassadors, and we have this opportunity to talk to other students about what we do.
Yes.
But as well, you've had an opportunity for other people to see what you do. So recently, you went viral. You totally went viral because you were in the lab doing your regular thing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I was in the lab one day. At that time, I had a very blonde mohawk with shaved sides. And I was in the lab. It was a very good day in the lab. And this is something that you should also take from me. Celebrate every moment, because that day, all my experiments had worked. So I took a picture of me in the lab. I put it on Twitter, and it somehow went viral. And in the tweet, it said, this is what a scientist looks like. Show the children, especially the children of color. And it went viral. I ended up on the Kelly Clarkson show, which was so crazy. I ended up on TV. I never, when I went into science, that was not the point. I went into science because I loved science, but here I was on TV. I've had so many opportunities through that post to talk to students like you in all over the world. And it's been really amazing to see that students wanted to see someone like me as a scientist and how much that means to them. So I didn't mean to go viral, but it did.
That is so cool to go from living in Ghana, thinking you wanted to be a medical doctor, moving to the United States, studying fish, shifting to wanting to be able to help your family and anyone that has cancer, to working with things that are associated with Wakanda, magnetic levitation, to then going viral to do the thing that you love.
Yes.
My hope is that anyone that is looking at this can see that doing STEM, doing science is so cool. It is the coolest thing that you can do. So another cool thing is happening to you. All of the If Then ambassadors will have a 3D printed statue of themselves in Dallas, Texas. It's already there.
Yes.
So when you first found out that you would have a full statue of yourself, granted, you've already been on Kelly Clarkson and you're already famous, but you're doing science every day. How did that feel to know that there would be a statue that anyone can go to and see you?
It felt very humbling, knowing that once I leave the earth and become a star in the sky, because that's how energy works, that somebody somewhere 20, 30 years from now will see my statue and say, she was a scientist, she was Black, she was herself, and she was able to become a scientist, and hopefully I will also be a scientist. And that is, it's a very humbling thought that I'm going to be influencing generations after me. And yeah, I didn't intend to do that. That was not the point of going into science, but I'm very grateful that it's happening because we need more scientists. We need more scientists from so many different backgrounds. So yeah.
I agree. And it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
So one last thing, if you could go back and talk to your middle school self or any other middle school boys or girls, what would you tell them about why science should be something that you should go into?
Mm-hmm. I would tell middle school students that with science, every door is going to be open to you. That's what getting a STEM degree does for you. There is no door that you cannot open. And because you can open every door, you have so many chances to change the world. You have so many chances to help people. And that is the most powerful superpower ever. So don't be put down by anyone who calls you a nerd, because guess what? Nerds change the world.
I agree. Thank you so much, Dr. Danielle Twum, for sharing a little bit of your story with us. If you want to know more about Dr. Twum and find out more of the amazing things that she's doing, please go to the If Then collection. Thanks so much, Dr. Twum.
Thank you, Dr. Starks. Have a good day.